woke up to a chart that looked a little off. Not enough to panic, just enough to pause. Someone in the group chat said it's kinda clean. Like a red day doesn't mean what red day means. There's a thread with a guy who sounds way too sure, saying this is where the real ones endure. And I almost believed it for a second or two, till I watched what the volume started to do. It's always fine, right up until it's not. It's just a dip. Hold the line, this is fine. Stay convicted. At what cost? Now the tone's getting weird, kinda thin, polite. Less we're early and more give it time. Same accounts, same words, just slower replies. Like they're choosing each sentence so it doesn't sound like goodbye. And the anchors on TV got that look they use, where they soften the edges of bad news. Call it rotation, call it needed relief, while it bleeds through the bottom of the screen underneath. You can feel it shift before anyone admits it's just a dip. Hold the line. Just a dip. Hold the line. This is fine. Stay convicted. This is fine. It's just a dip. Hold the line. This is fine. Stay convicted. At what cost?
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where it is a beautiful Thursday, April the 2nd, a.k.a. kind of a Friday, because the market is closed for tomorrow. So depending on how you really want to look at this calendar situation, it's kind of Friday. You know, that's kind of some exciting stuff. So pretty stoked about that one, especially when you start to look at how crazy everything in the market's been lately. A lot of it down, a lot of it up, a lot of it back down. We got some crazy speeches and updates of what's happening, what's not happening, and it's just leading to a lot of chaos. So my goal today, if you guys are cool with all of that, is to kind of break down some of the major updates from Trump's speech last night. If you kind of missed what's happening and you're waking up and you're like, why is the market down so much? Why is volatility up so much? Why is oil ripping to the high heavens? Well, it's because of the market's reaction to some of the commentary from Trump's speech at 9 p.m. Eastern last night. If you haven't watched the whole thing, I recommend you do. It is about, it's a sub 20-minute speech. I think it's like 18 minutes. So you can watch that on double speed and quickly catch up. I'm going to give you the skinny on the situation in the morning's prep, just so you get a better idea, or if you just need a recap. And then from there, we're going to go through apparently all of the initial implications of what this means for the market. But in a nutshell, the market is down quite a bit. Yeah, it's down actually a lot of bit. Volatility is up. Like I said, oil is just seemingly gearing up for new record highs. Will that all happen? I have no idea. We were kind of joking in the Discord early this morning that how funny would it be in all of this pandemonium if we end up actually massively green on the day? What if we go green at all? So we're going to be finding out. I don't think that's necessarily statistically likely. I'm not pitching that as my base case, but remember, the market likes to make fools out of all of us. So we're going to see how this is actually going to be going. So someone said start buying puts. Well, if you were doing that, shouldn't have you done that before this? Like you're kind of chasing now. The move has already happened. You're kind of late to the party. Remember, you want to be into the position before these moves, not after these moves. Obviously, if you want to get in afterwards, you'd wait for some sort of reversion to obviously minimize your risk. Other than that, sometimes the market's going to go and it's going to go without you. But that's all right, because the market is there's always another day of trading, always another fun-filled day in the world's largest casino. So I do appreciate you guys joining me at the crack of dawn. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on those notifications. If you're here, smash that like button, destroy it, like absolutely murder your mouse. That type of engagement really does help get this video to other people who might be interested. And we're doing a little Clark Kent, Harry Potter apparently thing this morning with my hair that is just slightly askew. But anyway, let me do my job for all of you this morning and add a little bit of foundation to what most likely will turn out to be a pretty crazy, chaotic trading day. Stock future sell-off picks up steam as the Dow drops 700 points as oil surges. Yeah, right now the pre-market session is pretty brutal. The SPY, after gaining 0.75% yesterday, is now down 1.5. The Nasdaq gained 1.2, it's down 2%. Oil is up 12%. Yes, you heard me right. Oil is up 12%. Yesterday, we were trading at 98. Today, we are trading at 112. And at one point, we actually just ripped to like, what was that, 113? Oil's just going crazy. Bitcoin taking a hit from 69,000 to 66. And volatility is ripping like no. They're down to 23.5 all the way back up to 27.6. So the initial readings of the situation, at least from overnight to now, is that the bears are in control. But I do want to remind you, just because things are this bad doesn't mean they're going to go bad. Now, obviously, the statistics would suggest, because the overall market is more so trend following than reverting, that I wouldn't necessarily say the highest quality bet is, oh, we're going to revert today. But obviously, at some point, we're going to revert. Once again, that doesn't mean it has to be today. But obviously, taking a look at basic things like momentum readings, where do we have that right here? You can see 5 minutes bearish, 10 minutes bearish, 30 minutes bearish, 4 hour is bearish. Also looking at the Nasdaq, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, it is all bearish. So yes, starting today out, things are red. The bears are in control. And the odds would say that they're going to keep control in the short term, but eventually the trend will switch. And maybe that comes as quickly as today, as we're heading into a long weekend. Don't forget, the market is closed tomorrow in observation of Good Friday. So maybe with the long weekend, vol is going to calm down. And as vol calms down, maybe we're going to see a little bit of a push to the upside. Or maybe people are just going to wait for next week. You never know. That's the point of just being willing to admit the unknowns of the situation, but just being objective and reading the empirical evidence right now. Due to Trump's speech, the bears are clearly in control. Markets rattled as Trump threatens escalation in Iran. So this is, like I said, the speech itself happened at 9 p.m. Eastern last night. It was about 18 minutes. This is a supercut of the major things that he spoke about. So I want you guys to listen to this just to make sure we're all on the same page. And then I have some things that I want to say from there. President Donald Trump has threatened to escalate the war in Iran.
We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong.
Yep. Some of his remarks rattled. And that was back when oil went to 106. We're now at 113. The dollar index, dude. It's just crazy. Crazy movement across the board. There was no clear indication from Trump on the reopening of the strait. Basically, he was saying, I want everyone in NATO to help us reopen it. And they haven't been too receptive to that concept thus far. Obviously, very, very important, that trade, because it's the shipping route.
The countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. But they should take the lead in protecting the oil that they so desperately depend on.
He kept saying like, there was what I found to be, okay, I suppose before I share all my thoughts, before the teacher starts speaking, for those of you who listened to the speech last night, generally, what was your vibes? What was your takeaway? Good speech, bad speech? Was it a bad speech that made you feel good? Was it a good speech that made you feel bad? Did you agree with them? Did you disagree with them? For those of you who actually listened to the whole thing, I listened to it last night and then again this morning, and then kind of went through some of these reactions. And I guess before I get going about some of my thoughts on all of this, I kind of want to see where you guys are at with it. I'm scared. He's delusional. Good overall. Kind of pointless. He feels sad. Not good, not bad. Totally neutral. Same old, same old. I guess generically, I'm agreeing with you guys. The one thing that jumped out to me is I felt like none of this was new. I felt as if you could just take his true socials from the past couple weeks, past couple months, and it felt like he was just reading the updates. Like, I didn't feel like we were getting anything new. This was all stuff that's already been stated in one way or another, generally either from one of his interviews or from his own true social posts. So I was a bit surprised about the market's reaction. And in my mind, this is kind of an overreaction because there was no oh my God, this is a whole new thing that's really, really bad. So we got to buy oil and we got to short the market and we got to spike volatility. I didn't feel like anything was new. So similar to you guys, I was kind of neutral on the whole thing because there was seemingly, at least just in my opinion, and maybe if you guys watch it, maybe you guys saw something that I didn't, but it didn't feel like there was a piece of information that we didn't already know going into this. It felt like just kind of a cohesive recap of everything that's been going on and a lot of the same echoing of the rhetoric that he's already been telling us. But once again, I actually don't know a single thing in that speech last night that was new to all of us. Literally, if you just go through his true social, it felt like they just stitched together his true social commentary and they're like, all right, that's your speech. Anyway, that was my major thing, and I guess tying it back to the market, because I feel that way, I'm actually surprised at the size of this sell-off. I'm surprised at the size of this spike just because it didn't seem like anything new was happening. And I guess you could argue, well, the market maybe was anticipating something positive of we're pulling out. But once again, if you've listened to anything he's been saying, clearly that was not an option in his mind. So a little bit shocked, I would say, about what I perceive. And I would be saying the same thing, even if it was a giant pop to the upside from that speech, because once again, I just feel like we didn't get anything new. But fortunately for us, that doesn't stop the internet from being the internet and giving us some awesome commentary. Art on the timeline. This Trump speech probably goes hard if your IQ is less than 80. And then obviously the follow-up tweet right below that, perfect speech. So we're already getting some quality updates. I thought this was an interesting one. I annotated it with the appropriate paraphrases. So this is how the market was reacting in real time to Trump's commentary. He started it off by saying congrats to the space people with reference to Artemis 2, which already took off. And then he got into the whole Iran situation and said, I shouldn't even be dealing with this. This is Obama's fault. Why was he sending them so much money? Why didn't he take care of it? Regardless, it is my job. So I'm going to bomb the hell out of them until they go to the Stone Age. And just so you guys know, maybe this has been going on a little bit longer than you wanted it to, but just so you know, all the other wars we've been in are way longer, so by that measurement, this is not that big of a deal, and you basically need to stop complaining and suck it up. And then even though it's not annotated, somewhere near the bottom here, he basically started calling everyone in NATO a bunch of pussies and said that they should be helping us. So that's pretty much how the market reacted. And yes, the market is down, and I keep looking at it in real time, and it's going more down. But once again, none of this stuff is new. We already knew about Artemis. We already knew about Obama sending them money. We already knew that we are in Iran. The bomb to the Stone Age was literally already a true social. Anyone with the ability to go to Wikipedia can tell how long these previous conflicts were, and the whole stop complaining so much. I mean, he's kind of said that already. I just didn't feel like we got anything new, and yet the market is having a clear reaction. So clearly, I'm the odd man out. Clearly, I am the person who is missing something here. Trump threat to hit Iran extremely hard, jolts global stocks. Once again, this is not new. He put this out on the internet. He said this in interviews. He put it on True Social. This idea of like, hey, we're just going to destroy it. Like, we're going after potentially their energy infrastructure, potentially their sanitation infrastructure. This is all stuff that he's already said. And I guess now maybe people watching TV who don't have True Social were like, oh, wow, that's pretty crazy. So they're like almost late to the party, which I guess is one thing in terms of public perception. But for it to impact the market, I'm a little confused. And that's not the only thing I'm confused about. Well, if you guys have been here at all ever, you know that I'm confused about many things in life. But one thing that I don't get, and these two things cannot live simultaneously. Trump has continually said that, quote unquote, we have bombed everything. Iran is completely destroyed. Many of their leaders are dead and everything else is non-existent. Okay, like, right? Like, am I right in saying that he has said that multiple times, or does anyone want to correct me on that? But I feel like at least 3 to 5 separate times, he's like, this country is flattened. We have bombed the shit out of everything. Leaders are gone. It's basically a bunch of rubble at this point. I've heard that many, many, many times. How is that possibly true, that we've bombed everything and everything's gone, and then yet the threat, the quote unquote threat that everyone's reacting to, is that we're going to bomb them more and we might take out more of their stuff? Those logically like cannot be true in the same reality. Either everything's gone and we bomb the shit out of it, or there's other things to bomb, and if we bomb that, it's going to get worse. Like, those don't go together. Either it's all gone or it's not all gone and there's other things to bomb. But like, what's going on there? I'm a little bit confused about that. They still have a lot of missiles. Well, apparently they still have something, because we're still threatening to bomb other things. But yet from the president, he's like, it's all gone. It's virtually all gone. Like just, I don't know. It's crazy. He's never said everything. He most certainly has. What? Like, that actually is probably a verbatim quote from him. It was like, we've bombed everything. Like, that's not me just trying to, I guess, be hyperbolic about it. Like, that is like verbatim from his mouth. I guess if we have a little bit of time, I'll go like find the exact one. But yeah, man. So like, and whatever, maybe that's just how he talks. Maybe he's just being a little bit hyperbolic. But once again, my point is to like bring this back to the market. So even if it is a hyperbolic statement of we bombed everything, it's like all virtually destroyed, then why is the threat of bombing a couple more things this extreme to the market? I'm like, my goal here is not to point out the doublespeak from Trump. This is what Trump does. This is what all politicians do. They all say dumb shit that they like are just whatever. They're politicians. That is not a unique thing that I'm trying to highlight here, because we all know that this happens. My point here is the disconnection between these statements and Trump's commentary. Previously, it's disconnection with this current one, and then the market's overreaction right now in real time. That's the point that I'm really, really trying to I guess, bring to the top of everyone's mind. But regardless, the reaction is the reaction. Oil gains with Brent surging more than 8% as Trump's Iran war speech stokes fears of further escalation. But even this, like the speech, it was nothing new. Like, I don't think between yesterday and today, the average person who's been paying attention thinks there's a greater statistical chance of escalation. Oil, as we pointed out previously, was not breaking below 100. It was there. You could look at Kohrs, you can look at Polymarket. The odds of boots on the ground stayed pretty much the same. So in terms of the odds of, I suppose, escalation or non-escalation, that stayed pretty constant. But then yet the movement in the market is saying, oh my God, there's like a whole brand new piece of information. So once again, just interesting things to point out. Traders poured $977 million into leverage bets that oil will plunge. So regardless of this is right or wrong in the short term, the medium term, and the long term, we know that people are making real bets in real time. And apparently a lot of these bets is just wrong, dude. That's $1 billion in leverage bets that are just going to get absolutely torched. So it's going to be a pretty brutal day for these players when the market officially opens. Trump tries to sell Americans on war in Iran. President U.S. military objectives would be completed very shortly and pledges to hit Iran extremely hard. The whole very shortly thing, we've literally been hearing that since the very first day, 5 Saturdays ago, of that, like, yeah, this is going to be short term. And obviously there's no real time frame with short term. This is once again just politicians speak, politicians being politicians. And I guess on that note, generically, do you guys think we should be in Iran right now doing this? Or do you think we should just not at all? And this is not our place, not our time. Like, if you could wave a magic wand and either, hey, all of you U.S. military forces are out of Iran and we're done with this and we move on with our life, or you're like, no, actually, this is really, really important and we should stay there and we should follow through on Trump's larger vision. I'm kind of curious. No, F no, yes, F no, absolutely not, yes. Tesla, no, not our problem, yes, F no. Interesting to see how split the whole thing is. Interesting. Sometimes I wish we had a way to like all verbally talk together at once, because whether you're strongly in the yes camp, strongly in the no camp, I'm always just curious about people's like mindsets and where they're coming from, and the major thing in the story that they're focusing on that puts them in the like yes camp or the no camp. I would say there's no more. Well, now there's more yeses coming across. At first, there was a bunch of no's, a couple yeses, and now it's switched. Now a lot of you are saying, yes, we should be there. Interesting. We need a Kohrs Neuralink just so we can all chit-chat. Hey, I'm down. I'm down to try it. Trump stirs market political angst with vague timeline for Iran. So once again, this is what politicians do, whether it's going to be very short, very long. It's never actual timelines, and that's a way where they can be never like, well, I never actually gave you that date, like that type of a situation. Trump raises NATO withdrawal as allies push back on Iran war. This was one of the final things, and once again, it was nothing new. This is what we've already heard from Trump, saw on Truth Social, but it was part of the speech of basically saying all the people in NATO who we back up and we help all the time, maybe you should stop being a bunch of pussies and actually help us on this one. Once again, I'm not saying that's the right or the wrong room. I'm basically just giving you a synopsis of the conclusion of the speech. With this being said, I obviously want to show you that oil is ripping. We're not as high as we were when this all first started, basically on Monday, March the 9th, which was 2 days after. This was the first day that the market started trading. But we're making a beeline for it. Just so you know, 119.48 is the recent high, but it is not the all-time high. Historically, let me get to, where is it? Why can I not see this? Okay. Historically, here we go. Historically, oil has been higher, so it's going to be a recent high, but if you go back to February of 22, it got as high as 130, and then if you go back to 08, it got as high as, what's that, like 147? And fun fact, oil at one point in time actually got negative. At one point, it was trading at negative $40 a barrel. That's a whole crazy story. It happened in 2020. Really cool story for you guys to look at, not necessarily the point of this, but yes, oil's gone from as high as 147 to as low as negative 40 a barrel. I know that sounds crazy, but yes, it can go negative. I don't think it's going to be happening anytime soon, as this thing is currently ripping. But anyway, recent high is 119, and right now the market is seemingly very much making a run for that. And then on the flip side, you have the S&P 500 taking a pretty serious hit, and you have some well-respected people such as the Oracle of Omaha saying, hey, you need to expect more pain.
Well, let's talk about that. The market has come down substantially.
Not substantially.
Well, you've got both the Dow and the NASDAQ in correction territory. It's the worst performance on a quarterly basis for stocks in about 4 years. Do things look cheaper to you?
No. 3 times since I've taken over Berkshire, it's gone down more than 50%. I mean, if you look at the markets of, the worst probably was the 2007-8 period, although there was that one Monday when you had 21% in a day. I mean, this is nothing. I mean,
Well, this is nothing to make you get excited and think there's huge valuation drops.
If they're 5 or 6% cheaper, that doesn't. We aren't in it to make 5 or 6%. I mean, but.
So even though he, when I say he, I mean Warren Buffett has stepped down from Berkshire Hathaway, obviously he's still doing some news bits, and famously over the past year or whatever, they've been sitting on cash. And right now with Becky from CNBC basically saying, hey, like, is this the dip that you're buying? And Warren Buffett is saying, nope, in fact, this is nothing really, and there's more pain to come. Is he really the Oracle of Omaha? Does he have some clairvoyant abilities? Is the pain really going to happen? Maybe yes, maybe no, but I do want to point out one thing. I know this is a little small, so let me just explain it. In March and April of last year, the market took a 10% hit, and the S&P 500 went below the 200-day simple moving average. And this was all with Trump's trade war and, once again, a lack of, I guess, information of what it was, what it wasn't. We started to recover, and we came back into the 200 simple moving average, and then we really vomited into the start of April. And then from there, we put in a higher low and then obviously exploded. So a lot of people are pointing out the similarities of the current setup from a technical perspective of a 10% dip from the all-time high. We shoot below the 200-day. We bounce back up into the 200-day, and that's basically where we were yesterday, getting into the realm of the 200-day moving average. So if history were to repeat, and I obviously from the point of statistics, I understand that one data point does not mean like, okay, it has to happen. We're looking at a data point. But I do want to point out that it is eerily similar. From the all-time high, 10% dip, back into the 200, and then a vomit. So far, we've had the 10% dip. We've had a bounce back into the 200. The question is are we now going to have a double up on that dip and go another 10% low? Obviously, your guess is as good as mine. I already, on the first dip 3 days ago, already added some to my long-term account. I didn't do the whole thing because I understand the situation's not over. So I still have a little bit of dry powder to put into the market if there's another dip. But obviously time will tell. I wanted to point it out just because maybe it will be a perfect mirror image of this situation. Or for all I know, the market might be playing a pretty brutal April Fool's Day joke the day after, and this dip might be bought all day, and we might end green on the day, which would be absolutely crazy. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is always remember your ability to predict in the short term is pretty much 50-50. So you have to accept that unknown. You have to accept that there's going to be a lot of variance, and inherently, whether you're day trading, scalp trading, or even short-term swing trading, it's always going to come back to your risk management. High quality risk management is how you're going to be net profitable, not just being, hey, like coming up with some sort of model that predicts that you know the next day, every single day. It just doesn't work. That does not exist. With respect to today, not only are we waiting for the market to kind of react, but there was initial jobless claims pretty much in line. I do want to remind you that the market is closed tomorrow, but we're still getting a bunch of very important major macroeconomic events. So even though it's a market holiday, it's not a BLS holiday for the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So even though the market's closed, with all this craziness, we are still going to be getting data. So that's going to add to the craziness clearly. With respect to one thing that I wanted to point out about said craziness, this is from Spot Gamma. Shout out to that team over there. The equity vol is still asleep relative to the oil move. So even though oil is going crazy, the expected movement in the S&P 500 today is actually relatively small. The 0DT SPX straddle is 55 bips. Or 85 bips, 55. Futures are down 1.5%. That's a giant mismatch. Like they're even kind of pointing out how this is looking at the movement in oil, but yet the expectation of not so much movement in the S&P 500, there's fuckery afoot. Something's going on. Very quickly talking about individual equities, Musk's SpaceX files to go public in one of the biggest IPOs ever. We're expecting some big numbers. They are looking at June. At first, it was 1.25 trillion. Now they're looking at 1.75 trillion, which would actually put them at about the 7th biggest company on the public market. So I just wanted to share that with you. Kind of crazy. And speaking of space, and this is actually one part of Trump's speech yesterday, full send, NASA launches astronauts on historic moon flight. So very cool. I know many of you watched it, but the cooler thing is actually this video of obviously a young spacefaring fan.
Why do you want to be here? Why do you love space? Why do you love being a part of history?
We're going back to the frickin' moon, that's why.
That's what's up, because we're going back to the fucking moon. NASA launches 4 astronauts on world's first crewed lunar mission in half a century. So pretty cool. I know a lot of us are interested in just like a cool feat of engineering, a cool feat of just development. I mean, I like it. I'm a fan. Makes me feel like that kid of we're just going back to the fucking moon. Love it. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter, mattkohrs.locals.com. It's in the description of the video. My mod will put it in chat, but I just want to let you know, with respect to seasonality, today, Thursday, the final trading this week, oddly enough, the seasonality is bullish. I know you might be looking at the market right now and saying, what are you talking about? But just commenting on the last 27 years worth of information, the bulls have won this day 68% of the time. So like I said, if you want to check that out, mattkohrs.locals.com. It's in the description of the video. And on that particular note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, while we're waiting for some of this opening session to play out, I do want to let you know that, yes, we do have 2 upside gap fills. So we have an upside gap fill to the low from yesterday at 6,554. For us to get over that, we would have to smash through this clear node of positive gamma at 6,500. So basically, above 6,500, there's a little bit of a potential resistance at 6,525, a little bit of positive gamma. But then from there, obviously, we would be looking at the upside gap fill. So in that particular case, I don't know if it will or won't play out. But for my bullish players, traders, predictors in chat, it would look a little something like this. The market would, here, let me go to the 1 minute. Basically, you would say, okay, I want the market to get above and hold above 6,500. From there, you would be looking at the next positive gamma node and the start of the transition zone at 6,525. And then from there, you'd be looking to play the upside gap fill at 6,554. That would be the intraday bull case. The intraday bear case would be, oh, we actually don't get above 6,500 and the market is clearly rejected at the biggest positive gamma node of the day. And then from there, we go to 6,475, 6,450. And then at that point, unfortunately, at least as of market open, there's not much to protect us all the way down to 6,400. So obviously that would be your bear case. For me right now, I really am neutral. I know that coming into this, that's a lot of red. There's a sea of red. But I mean, I've been in this game for too long where people have like, they get emotionally spun up by a large gap and they want to play it that way. They chase it. And then the market plays a vicious joke of a full day reversal. So because I've seen that, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, but because I've seen that happen before, I'm going to wait a little bit and see, okay, what really happens with momentum? Is the 5-minute actually going to go bullish? Is the 10-minute actually going to go bullish? Is the 30-minute going to make a shot at running all the way up? The 5 minutes testing right now. The 10 minutes testing right now. Looking at the NASDAQ, 5 minutes testing. 10 minutes testing, 30-minute and 4-hour do have some distance to go. But my point is even though we see all of this red, it doesn't mean that we have to actually go that way. So for me, whether I want to short it and I'm not against shorting it, whether I want to buy it and I'm not against buying it, I just want to wait to see if I can get a better understanding of what the momentum's actually going to be. And obviously, one of the tools that we have at our disposal to really, really help with that is the options flow, the real-time options flow right about here. All right. Let's get this up. I'm not going to put too much weight on this just because we don't have that much data yet. Hey, come on, get rid of this. All right. S&P 500. All right, we don't need that. Let me just clean up these charts a little bit so it's a bit easier for us to all read. The Mag 7 out of the gate is pretty much flat. The S&P 500 popped, gave it back, maybe trending down a little bit. But overall, We're only 3 minutes into the day. We already have a clear rejection at 6,500. Key technical level, key psychological level. Please pay attention to that. Now, for those of you who are trading the SPY, the upside gap fill is to what level? It is to 653 flat. And then if you are playing it on the Qs, the upside gap fill is to what level? It is to 680.42. So for those of you saying, hey man, I like the gap, but what's the level on the equivalent ETFs? QQQ is 580.42. SPY, it is 653. But the main gap that the large players are going to be looking at, because the large players trade SPX, they don't trade SPY, you'd be looking at 6554.29. Obviously, a lot of commentary on what's happening with oil, higher highs, higher lows, strong momentum, seems to be making a beeline to that initial high that we had on Monday, March the 9th, which is 119 a barrel. That's not the all-time high. The all-time is around 147. All-time low is negative 40, which is crazy, but we could talk about that a little bit later. You might be curious about how gold is reacting. Gold is not reacting well. Lower highs, lower lows. This was a little bit of just too much of a FOMO situation, so naturally this is how FOMO situations end. Same thing in silver. So this, in my opinion, the gold and silver rip was not because of inflation whatsoever. I think it had a lot to do with a distrust in the US dollar. So as we see strength now coming into the dollar, you're seeing a little bit of a tug and war, but once again, maybe not the main topic of today's show, because I'm sure many of you are trying to watch this intraday action, as probably we're going to see some chaos. My question to all of you: are you buying this dip? Are you saying, you know what, I think we're actually a lot closer to the bottom in the equities market than we are, like in terms of how much more we need to go down? Are you buying this dip? Or do you, hang on, let me just kind of show you how it's played out historically, because everyone is pointing out last April. So do you guys see the similarities right here between these two events where I'm looking at mid-February. We sold until mid-March. We popped up. This was the 200 SMA test. And then this is where people started to buy. And it's like, we had another impulse down. You see these similarities? This time it's offset by like about a week. So you had about mid-Feb to about the end of March. Like I said, it's offset for a week. We pop up. The question is this going to lead to one more vomit, or is this actually going to be it? And this is kind of like a double bottom situation, or maybe we're just going to put in a higher low and go from there. So in a nutshell, the real question is are you buying the dip right now, or do you think that there's a bit more pain to come? A bit more pain to come. Buying puts on oil. I kind of like that play. Obviously, you have to be careful about the timing, but I think generically oil will not be staying at these prices. I think actually, if you give it enough time, we're coming back to sub 70 a barrel. The trick to that particular play is the timing of it, of when is the expiration date. I mean, I wouldn't be doing that for this week or next week or probably even these monthlies. I would give it time, but I do like that bet in a general sense, that I do think oil is going to come back down. A bit more pain to Cam. Buffett said more pain, right? He did, but that doesn't mean he's right. Just because someone says something doesn't mean that, like, there's no trader who has 100% accuracy. So there's no person like that you should treat as like whatever they says is like gospel in the market. We're turning into a bear market. It's been a long time before we were due. I mean, we're only halfway there. Actually, not even. A bear market is a 20% sell-off from the high. Right now, we're not even at 10%, and 10% is a correction. So when people say bear market, like there is like a literal definition to it, and it's a 20% pullback from the high. And right now, I think we're at 9%. We're at 7.4, actually. We were just at 9 as of, I guess, the end of March, but we're at 7.4%. I would say we're in a bearish trend because we have lower highs and lower lows, but from the lens of the overall market, are we in a bear market? No, a bear market does have a pure definition of being down 20%. Buffett wants more pain, probably because he's been talking about how much cash he has. He has over $300 billion in cash, and they're looking to buy a serious dip. But I also don't think he gives a shit anymore. He's done, dude. He's out of the game. He's just commenting to comment, and maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. Many individual stocks are down so much, though. Okay, and obviously in aggregate, they're not. You could also find individual stocks that are up a lot. Like, what's that point? Like, the market itself, the overall market, remember, is the composition of all of those put together. So in aggregate, it's down 7.5% based on the weighting of the S&P 500. We will get down 10 to 15%, maybe. I mean, we were almost at 10. I think we hit like 9.8, 9.9 in that extreme like 4 days ago. Are we in a correction yet? No. Correction is 10%. So we're close, but if we're going to be nerdy about it and use the exact definitions, no, we are not. I'm on under 5-year Buffett I'm on the under 5-year Buffett life expectancy. Oh, because he's so old? Yeah, I mean, it's sad to say, but that's what an actuary would say as well. All right, well, as we're getting going, obviously we're already getting oh, you guys can't see this. We're already getting pretty sizable movement. Hang on, let me switch this up. Let me... All right, so I just did a scalp trade on my take profits this morning because I just needed to do a scalp trade. I'm not trading on the Lucids because I'm still waiting to go live, so we don't need those accounts. So let me disconnect from that data feed. Other than that, I did get my payout from Funded Futures Network, which is that 7 PVs right here. So I did get, it was a $10,000 payout, but it's an 80-20 split. So I got another $8,000 sent to my bank account. I think that actually just hit this morning. So I should be able to trade on these. So these are all funded. And the top accounts and the bottom accounts are all funded. The take profits, like I said, I'm already done with those on the day, made $30. So let's disconnect that. I just had to do a scalp trade. So basically right now, today, I'm trading 10 funded accounts and then 5 evals. The Tradeifys are evals. The Legends and the FFNs are all funded. So just want to kind of explain what's going on because I know per day there's quite a bit of movement. So just to kind of make sure we're all on the same page. So today, trading 15 accounts. It'd be nice to make 3K per account, so about 45K is probably the max I can do on the day. Once again, that would be the most optimal situation. And out of those 15 accounts, 10 of them are funded, as in going for real money, and then 5 of them are in the eval stage. But actually, on these ones, I only need to get to 159, so I would stop those at 2K because there's no point in trading past 159 because you only have to hit 159 to actually pass the test. So that would be my goal over there. But as you saw, I did do a trade. I can't say I didn't trade today. I did technically do that trade already on the TPTs. It was a little just scalp trade, nothing too special. And other than that, we're waiting to see what the hell is going on. We're waiting to see what's going on. The S&P 500 flow, it tried to get going a little bit, just got hit starting at 938, and now we're going a little bit flat. Looking at the Mag 7, it's slightly but surely trending down. The Nasdaq is definitely trending down. So paying attention to, like I said, momentum. The 5-minute seemingly failed. The 5-minute tried to go bullish, got smacked. 10-minute clearly failed, went right up to that 50 EMA, got smacked. 30-minute is still bearish, and the 4-hour is definitely bearish. Looking at the Nasdaq, the 5-minute tried to go bullish, got smacked. Same thing, the 10-minute wicked right there at the 50 EMA. 30-minute is clearly bearish. We already explained all these levels. For the bulls to have a shot today, you have to get above and hold above 6,500. We already hit my first bearish target of the day. Surprise, surprise. We bounced at the level that I actually called out perfectly before the market opened. How did I know that? It wasn't some big brain rocket surgery. I was literally looking at all of the important nodes of the day. I saw a lot of big players there, and because I saw a lot of large players positioned there, I figured if we get there, there might be some sort of a reaction. So how did I pick this literally to the tick and this one to the tick? It's just looking at where the big money is positioned. Like I said, this is not some sort of clairvoyant, Harry Potter, big brain scientific call out. It's literally saying, where's all the money positioned? Oh, I wonder if the market's going to react to where all the money is positioned. Like it's not some difficult thing whatsoever. It truly, truly is not. Oh, I forgot to do this. Right, we got to map out. All right, so for those of you who are maybe short NQ, a reasonable target is 666, the mark of the devil. That is the overnight session low. Once again, that is 23,666. So maybe just roughly in that range. Maybe if you want to like front run it by a little bit here or there, something to pay attention to. What time is it? I'm going to take a stab at it.
Order filled.
I'm taking a stab at it. I hope this is my one trade of the day. One trade of the day. We'll see. Oh, I don't necessarily need that VWAP. Where is this VWAP? I'm trying to watch the session VWAP and the anchored VWAP. So right here, I was trying to play the breakdown to 700, hoping it wouldn't recover above it. And really, I was looking for this puke down to 77 and then hopefully hit 66. But in the back of my mind, I have to ask myself, am I prepared to cut it at 740? Or would I throw on another contract on a potential rejection of VWAP and the 50% IB? If I'm going to do it that way, I should probably cut this one earlier just so I don't have to carry that risk all the way up. Something to consider. I guess if I wanted to, that's about $1,000. Like, do I just want to slap in, try to go short around 50, 750? That would bring my average up to about 30. So that's not a bad average to have. But overall, you might be thinking, okay, Matt, like what's the idea? What's the real thesis behind this? I'm just going with trend. I see lower highs. I see lower lows. I'm looking at momentum. I'm seeing right here, 5 minute is technically on the bearish side, 10 minutes technically on the bearish side, 30 minutes clearly bearish, and 4 hour. And I'm kind of paying attention to this rejection right here. Maybe it reverses on me. We're seeing a little bit of a pop right now, but overall, I can only base it on the information that I currently have. I have no ability to predict what the next bar is going to be. So just doing my best to trade on the right side. I saw that yeah, that's all down. Oops, SPY actually started picking up a little bit here in terms of options flow. All right, so that latter case that I was kind of talking about of, am I going to cut it right here or am I going to add to my average because there might be a clear rejection? I need to make this decision and I need to make it quickly. All right.
Order filled.
We're going to see if this was a smart ad, not. It's just at a point of equilibrium. Once again, when you come to points of equilibrium, it's a game of 50-50, and the way you can win a game of 50-50 is just risk reward. So basically, if I'm wrong on this, the way you win is by cutting it quickly and just admitting you're wrong. And then if you're right, you get to ride it all the way back down. But literally, I'm just looking at the point that it is VWAP. I'm looking at the fact that it is IB. And yeah, you could have a breakout. I have no idea. I don't know if the next bar is going to be a giant green bar. Obviously, I'm hopeful it at least comes back down to 21 here for me. But if it gets going, guess what? I'm just going to hit this close button because I don't necessarily need to get caught up in a recovery up to 820. Where's SPX? I need SPX. All right. I'm about to admit that I'm wrong on this one. Yeah. Where's the 100 tick? Nope, that doesn't give me the clarity I need. Neither does this, honestly. Neither does this, honestly. Someone's buying. All right, I'm about to lay the sword down on this one. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we? Oh, I need this VWAP. My VWAPs are all messed up. All right. I was hoping for the reaction there, but honestly, this might screw me over. We might just bounce off of this now. Resistance might be turning into support. So I'm kind of watching this 50 level. If we get there, we might not even get there, which is more strength, which is just means you have to admit you're wrong. Finger is on the trigger. Calm, cool, collected, folks. Calm, cool, collected. 800. If I see buyers step in right at this level at 50, even if we get there, that's a pretty strong sign I need to get the fuck out, because they might, like I said, resistance might just be turning into support, and this might be my best opportunity to exit instead of exiting 50 points later. So I'm going to give it one quick second, but like I said, I am ready to get the hell out of this if I need to. I'm ready to get the hell out of this if I need to. I really wanted that touch. I wanted to see how it reacted to VWAP, but I don't. Is it going to give us that? I'm looking at Bookmap. I'm looking. I don't want to overreact. Definitely don't want to underreact either. All right, just touch 50 so I can get some sort of idea of who's actually in control here. Could always be that fake out pop. It's 9:49, so I don't have to worry about the 10 a.m. reversal for like about 10 minutes. That might be my... What are we doing? I'm definitely not letting this one get out of control. Honestly, even right where we're at is kind of the biggest loss I'd prefer to take on a single trade based on like how much buffer I have, but we're going to see. Come on. So the 9:30 VWAP, the session, dude, buyers are still stepping in. We went, it just swept it barely. So the low was 64, comes down to 61. But that's a lower high. Ooh, do I just need to admit I'm wrong? I don't know which way this is going to break. Obviously, I'm hoping it breaks my way, but I kind of have to just wait. I have a 50-50 shot. 1 minute got bullish on that pop. That was quite a bit of buying. I should have waited for this trade originally. That should have been my first trade. In retrospect, obviously, it's still a losing trade, but I think that would have been a better way to potentially play this. I'm giving it a second, but like I said, I'll cut this if I need to. All right, there's the 800 test. I cannot take much more pain than this one. What's that high? The high is 806. 800 is also the point of control. Fuck, I think I just need a bail. Fuck. What was that high? 809. 809. How are we going to do it? Rejection at the point of control? Maybe. I'm really trying to just get lucky here, I guess, at this point. Well, I guess technically I'm trying to get lucky on every single trade. Do I just want to bail? Do I just want to... Is it going to hold 800? Is it? Fuck. Yes. Yeah.
Order filled.
Well, that was an absurdly late fill to the tune of an extra like $800. That sucks. Well, that rejection did not work. Probably should have bailed at 92, but then I kept thinking of 800, and then I got a horrible fill. Fuck. All right, that's about 1,000 more than I really wanted to take on that first one. And we're coming up to VWAP. The bummer here, knowing my luck, is... Fuck. The bummer here is probably it's going to hit VWAP and then just get rejected and then vomit all the way down for me anyway. Obviously, you can't think that way, because if it keeps going, then you're screwed anyway, so you can't like bet on that. But knowing my luck, bail, I got to fill 13 points worse than I wanted to on 2 contracts, so that was about what, just over $500 worse. And even that, I was giving it a little bit more room than I should have, but I should have got the fuck out on this first one down here at 740, because if I was in at 91, that was just a lot more manageable. Should have bailed on that one. I could have taken a stab here. That one also would have gotten hit, but it would have just not been as bad. So regardless, like, my system was firing short. I just held on to it a little bit too long. Like, I was definitely bound to lose on those ones. It just like wasn't going to go my way. Not going to go my way. But now I have to be careful. $889. $889. Okay. I just want to make sure I have the right lead account, which I do. All right, now we're just at VWAP. Will we keep going? Your guess is as good as mine. Gap fill? It's completely possible today, which is part of the reason why I was like, oh, I'm not just going to blindly hold this past it, because like I said, this is, we're above 500. Next target is 525. And then from there, you're watching 550. And we're battling it out at VWAP, interestingly enough. Interestingly enough. It's not that bad of risk. 24. I mean, we're above 800. But right here, we're at VWAP. Will we go? Here's a look at flow. That's doing something. There's the Mag 7. The S&P, that's a big pop. So the trend did kind of like straight up reverse there. Wow. Wow. All right. We're just here at VWAP still. Oh, no. No, my tea. Good thing I drank most of it. Are we going to get a above VWAP? This is an interesting one. We just ran right to it. And now maybe we're struggling a little bit. But also we're not really reversing course either. We're not really, like this white dash line, that's VWAP. Let's zoom in so we can see this a little bit better. This white dash line's VWAP. That was a strong move. It's 957. People are selling at VWAP.
Order filled.
All right.
Order submitted.
I'm going to take my stab at this. I took a long there. See if I can start climbing out of this hole. I'm just attempting to play the VWAP breakout. I do wish my order was right below 50 just so I could be protected by VWAP and not, but the market's moving so quickly today that I'm continually getting shitty fills, but just trying to play this VWAP. Like maybe we will stay on the north side of VWAP. To clarify, obviously the trend here in the S&P 5, flow alert. That it doesn't have to, but it does commonly, I've noticed, say, the run might be over. Shit, that's not good. It just fired. Okay, so that means for me, I just need to be a bit safer about it. I'm just going to move it to a free trade right away. Just a little bit paranoid about that flow alert because it means maybe the call buyers are done calling. Now, if it keeps going, great, whatever. I have action. I'm in the game on it. We're watching 900. Cool, that works. Not a bad deal. But I just need to be mindful of. We've seen it many times before where there's a flow alert and then there's a potential reversal. So maybe it doesn't happen today. Maybe it doesn't, and that's fine. I'll get action. But if it does, I'm protecting myself. I'm already in the hole. I don't want to be that much in the hole. So, okay, this is how you manage it. I'm giving myself a shot to maybe ride it because maybe momentum is shifting. That's a possibility. 5 minute is trying to go green. 10 minutes trying to go green. 30 minutes testing right here. 5 minutes trying to go green. 10 minutes trying to go green. 30 minutes testing. Maybe it breaks out. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. This could be a hardcore reversal and then we can vomit for the rest of the day. This is just a key test point. I don't know which way it's going to go. And because of that, and also the fact that I'm already in the hole, well, there. Stops at break even. Stops at break even. I want it to be a breakout because that's the best way for me to get out of this little bit of a silly hole. Like I said, I took a 4.2K hit. It should have been 3.5, which I try to keep it at 2.5. So I was already playing a little bit larger just because I know today's range was expected to be bigger, but then slippage made it go from 3.5 to 4.2. So very rapidly, I'm playing at from my heels, a position that I don't necessarily want to be. Come on. So anyway, I'm long at 59. That stops at break even. That's a freebie trade. I'm thinking about maybe adding in another contract, but once again, same thing. I'll treat the positions independently, and I'll get that one to break even as quickly as I can if I see a continuation in strength. But like I said, I'm nervous because it's 10 a.m. right now. We just started the new bar. The 30-minute is on the struggle bus here. The 30-minute is clearly on the struggle bus. 5-minute went green, 10-minute went green, 30-minute right there. It's holding. Could be a fake out. Even the 4-hour. Look at this. The 4-hour is right at that key area. So I would need the trend reversal to like legitimately hold. And whenever you're betting on a trend reversal legitimately holding, you have 50-50. And maybe you give it a little bit more leeway if you're green or if it's your first trade. But obviously I have to also pay attention to my account. It's not like I just want to like blow them out. So we'll see. We'll see. But putting together the concept of the 10 a.m. reversal and that flow alert, I think for me, the right move is take on no risk. And I can't let this breathe at all, especially just in this environment. Honestly, maybe the question is, do I even just take it earlier to secure some? Why am I missing this one? Oh, knowing my luck, it's going to hit VWAP, knock me out, and then rip anyway. But maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe I'll get lucky. What do you think about the SpaceX IPO? I mean, more specifically, what are you asking? Should be one of the biggest IPOs ever. I think it's a cool company. I think there's going to be a lot of interest in it, but I mean, that's like a pretty vague general question. Fuck. Yeah, the fact that my fill is right above VWAP, not so good. Come on. Just don't even touch it. after getting absurdly unlucky. Let's see if I can now get lucky. Come on. It feels like it's coming for me at this point. Just bounce. No, they're hunting VWAP. Son of a bitch. Just bounce. Yeah, get going. We're playing a dangerous game today. Above 900, I'd feel pretty comfortable. Above 90, I'd even feel comfortable. All right, maybe I just move mine up to that level just to make sure, just in case there's slippage. Honestly, there might be that much slippage today, so I'm still trying to just not go further into the hole. So I'm kind of moving it up to that recent low just because good chance that if it hits that, it's going to hit me anyway. I'm not protected by VWAP. And with slippage in mind, I mean, that one trade, I literally had 13 points slippage on 2 contracts. So that was, over $500. But I just needed to stop making these fresh lows. Come on, just get out of here. What time? It's 10:04. The real question is, okay, I have to ask myself, if this gets knocked, am I prepared to buy like a dip right below VWAP? Like, am I prepared to buy at 50? It'd be nice if I just had a streak of luck here and it just, God candle greens goes above 24,000. Come on. Nope. Fuck.
Order
no,
filled.
They're hunting VWAP. All right. So small gain on that one. Nothing too crazy. Small gain. Right to VWAP. Now we'll see. Yep, of course. Of course. So it would have knocked me out. It was actually a good play. At least I had a little bit of green. I had a little bit of green. How are we looking on flow? Yeah. I was in at 59 and it hit to 58. It would have knocked me out. Fuck. Now if this goes, I don't want my fill above 900. Yeah. It would have. I mean, the woulda, coulda, shoulda. This is why if I had the better fill, I could have left it there the whole time and it actually would have never tagged it. But it was I was off by a couple points on that entry. And then it fucking goes anyway. Yeah, dude. Rewind this stream like 5 minutes when I said it's going to come down, tag me, and then rip anyway. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. And that it's all my fault for a slightly shitty fill. I didn't want to give it risk because of my shitty initial trades. That's 100% on me. Wow. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. I can't believe it. I would have already been up almost 100 points. Tis trading. Tis the game of trading. And I can't chase this now. It's just the risk reward is not there. Like maybe a dip to 900 I'd be interested in. It'd be better on a dip to this. But at that point, would other people get scared out if we dip that hard to VWAP? Let's see. Let's see what we can do. Just knocked me out. SPY, not a new high on Delta. Mag 7 is popping. NASDAQ. We still have the upside gap fill in play. Oil is coming down and vol is coming down as well. We have this 25. So that got rejected, pulled back. Nice breakout there. 25, we're at the start of the transition zone. Watching this. We're at this 50%, and then you have 24,000 flat. Huh. Upside gap fill for those of you who are joining in right now is 6554. So a good 30 points above where we're currently at. I can't bring myself to chase at this level. It's just not good risk reward. It's not good risk reward, in my opinion. What is this low? This low is 14. Maybe you have people react to 900. Maybe back down here at VWAP. For those of you who don't know, VWAP is the volume weighted average price. So basically it's an understanding of where the average participant is in the market based on whatever your starting time is. The white line I started at 6 p.m. the night before the start of the futures trading session. The orange dash line is from the start of market open, as in 9:30 a.m. So two different VWAPs. The only thing you can really change in VWAP is your starting point. Like at what time do you start calculating all the trades and the trade size to get the average? All right, we took out that low. I wouldn't mind a quick dip to 900. But then would I have the balls to buy there? A double bottom here at 910, 912. That's a weird level. If it was a double bottom off of 900, that's somewhat of a different story.
Order filled. Order
right.
submitted.
I'm getting the stop in right away so I don't do the same fucking mistake that I did already this morning, where if I'm wrong, just keep it a reasonable, sizable hit, which, like, I don't know. I mean, in the past, I've taken that, the short trade in the morning and it goes to VWAP and I've added to it and it goes for me. And then today I just held on to it too long, which if I held on to it and if it worked, I would have looked like a genius. I held on to it today and it didn't work, and now I look like a buffoon. And it's the same trade. So I should have just, in reality, been a bit more willing to hang on. Do I want to go break even right away? Do I want to use 24? I'm trying to just de-risk this as quickly as I can, but I'm just not getting enough room. Of course, you could be hyper aggressive and go to break even like right away, like 5 points, 10 points. But you're just going to get stopped out a lot. But it is the best way to manage risk. That's kind of up to you. Come on, just get out of here. Can I just get a lucky break once today? Can I get a lucky break once today? Like I said, I'm not taking on that much risk, not 23 points. And I'm thinking about moving it up another 14. And I would actually love to go to break even, which I could probably do if we take out 64, the current intraday high. So that's kind of the plan right now of how I'm managing it. Obviously, right now, my risk is pinned to the recent low. If we took that out, come on, just get out of here. Fuck. What is this low? 23. Do I want to close it earlier? Earlier, later. I just need to be more mindful about this. I'm playing a very, very dangerous game today. Come on, just get the fuck out of here. Come on. What is that low? 27. This low is 24. All right, we're moving it up a little bit. If I do that, is it going to knock me? Probably. I think I just need to be more mindful of the risk. Unfortunately, I put myself in this situation. Had I been better with that first trade, I think I could give this more room to actually work. Unfortunately, I was not. So now I have to play it super aggressive, or I should say super conservative risk, which means I need more luck that like basically from the moment I get in, it can't have that much dancing around room, but that's what the market loves to do. It loves to dance around. So,
Order filled.
All right. That was just more of a protection thing. I had to play it that way just in case, because it still could come back to 900 pretty easily. It could still come back to VWAP pretty easily. Once again, knowing my luck today, especially, that's going to be the bottom tick and it's going to rip. That's just how the day is going. But I just have to be mindful of the worst case. I really do. I do. Just be mindful. What is this low? 12. Yeah, I mean, what's this low? 912, 900. Then these people maybe. Oh, wait, where is that other? Yeah, 862. Interesting levels. If only I just waited a bit and then just played a contract, I could have given this whole thing a lot more leeway. That's 100% on me. That was a tactical error. I don't know how much drawdown these ones have. That's what I'm most worried about.
Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
Yeah, I knew it was close. That was fucking stupid. Oh, this is why you have to treat your accounts separately. It was that first trade that I was trading them all. Like I had the FFN and then of course it goes. Like, dude, just my luck today. Just my fucking luck today, man. Like fucking knocking it out at that wick. Like, God. Just bound to have one of those days, man. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Well, that's a hard rejection. Wow. I can't get that little bit of luck you need.
Order filled.
Yeah. Brutal. I can't catch it. Can't catch that little fucking bit of luck that I need of just the timing, which that's not going to be in your control. And I just needed that a bit. All right. Well, hang on. Let me update this shit then. All right. Well, with these, I have much more buffer, so I can actually trade them with the room. I was basically trading them all like I had 15K of buffer, which was my big mistake when some of them had like whatever, the 4.5, which was the mistake. Like the sizing was off on that double down on the first one, which, like I said, in a nutshell, I was trading them all like I had more buffer, which I shouldn't. If I was copy trading them, I should have been trading them all as if I had the smallest amount of buffer. And I just didn't. And the best move would have been to trade these all truly independently based on like how much room I could have actually given them. Whatever. That's a mistake on my part. And this is probably going to rip and go and I'm going to be fine. Like that's That's so silly. That's like so fucking incredibly silly on my point. Tis trading. Tis trading. So lost the evals on Tradeify. Once again, they were evals. So it's a bummer for sure. It's just like stupid. All right, let's get some music going to see if we can actually catch this pump and get back to where we need to be. I am watching that gap fill on SPX. We still have about 35 points, which I actually like as like a target. How do I what 47? So that's 10 points of risk if I use that low. Do I want to put one there and then one here, or do I just want to do a free trade?
Order submitted.
Do I just want to do a free trade? Decisions. Let's see. So IB high is pretty much 24,000. I'm definitely expecting a reaction there because it is 24,000. And once again, I just need to maybe once today get on the right side of luck. And instead of it getting perfectly rejected there, knocking me out and then ripping. Like, I feel like the amount of times I've just been knocked out. Unlucky, but once again, to clarify, it was all brought on myself with that first trade of copy trading and treating them all like I had a lot of buffer when I didn't. That was the fuck up. I should have cross-traded it probably to MNQ if I wanted that much size, or I could have just treated them completely independently. That's all on me. All on me. Come on. Come on. I just want to see this above 24,000. I'd prefer that it holds this low at 73. But hey, I guess at this point, beggars can't be choosers. Shit. I'm not risking anything on this one. It would just be really nice if I could for fucking once. And this is this is really the problem. Has like, if I just had initially that better handling, I could have given this a little bit of leeway. And actually that VWAP breakout that I bought all the way down at 59, I would still be in. But why couldn't I have held that is because I had to be more risk observant because of how stupid that first trade was. So you see there of how quickly one bad trade can actually fuck up future good trades, where like I would have still been in that at 59. I would have been like, yeah, I'll give it a little bit more room. I would have risked a low below VWAP, but I couldn't because of the drawdown. And then here I am now, wicked out. So like right there, I think that's a good example of just, I don't know, of how quickly it can just become stupid. So once again, all on me. Maybe now I could actually catch the trend. Right at 24,000. I am worried about a rejection here, which is why I already have the stop at break even. We just took it out. I'm going to need some decent follow through. Which, that's no surprise. Come on, maybe. Can I just get lucky once today? Can I just catch a streak of luck once? Or is it going to be perpetually unlucky where this is going to knock me out, go to 55, knock me out by a point, just to then rip to like 24,100? We've seen crazier things. But we're going to give it a shot. We are going to give it a shot. Come on. If we can hold 24,000, I think I actually really like my chances. But that's a big question. What is this low? 76. There might be a decent argument to maybe just move my stop there, or maybe move it to 66 to at least guarantee 400 points. But at this point, with the hole that I'm in, maybe it's worthwhile to give it a little bit more drawdown for the sake of getting lucky. That first trade. First trade's what boned me. Yep. Mark my words. This is where it comes from my position, barely knocks me out, and then we rip anyway. And I'll be the first to say I kind of deserve it today with how poor that execution was. Come on, get out of here. Can I just get lucky once? Yeah. I mean, 900 still in play, 870 still in play. Like, this thing could definitely have a pullback and still be bullish. And my average fill is just way too high. Like, the rocket would just have to clearly keep going from here. And the odds of that are not so good. If it can take out 93, I think I'm going to move my stop up to like 66 just to guarantee some, just because every little bit I can get out of this hole is most likely going to be helpful. I just want to take out this recent high. I like that it was a little bit of a double bottom between 1021 and now, but look at that, just quickly reverted. Someone came in and bought with size, but it was very short-lived. Once again, this is a time where, like, yeah, just give it leeway. You're on the right side of momentum. Give it some room. Understand that there's crazy. Yeah.
Order filled.
Fuck me, dude. And dude, it's pretty much fucking foretold that it's going to knock me out and that's going to be it. And then we're just going to go from there. Crazy. Fuck me. Pretty much foretold. All right, let's see how deep this is. I had to protect myself at this point. I think in normal circumstances, as in not trading like a dickhead, I would have given it a little bit more room. But today I just was not afforded that flexibility because of my already pre-established shitty trades. Dude, I'm telling you, it's going to be just how it goes. Calling perfect entries with your stop losses on, that's how it feels. That's how it feels. But just in case I'm wrong on one of those and it actually is a vomit all the way to VWAP, I have to get out because that's what I didn't do the first time, which is like inherently what caused all these problems for me anyway. So yeah, it's going to happen a lot, but you have to like think about the one time that no, it actually is like a legit vomit all the way back to 900 to 870 to something like that. So like just on the off chance that it is, I have to get out of the way. From a risk perspective, I just don't have another option. And the example of that would be I've been effectively taking the same plays all day, maybe on the opposite side, but the same logical setup. And on that first one, I didn't do that and I gave it room. And then that's really what snowballed and got me into this position. So like you have to treat it as if it's going to go horrifically wrong, especially when you're already down. It's what, like, you don't have another option. Right, that's actually looking pretty decent. Yes, SPX, if we hold a little retest of 25 here, that might be a nice bounce, honestly, if we can get going from here. I mean, the upside gap fill, we still have some distance. 54, right? Yep, 54.29. So I'm not saying it's going to happen immediately, but something to pay attention to. Something to pay attention to. The question is, if we were to bounce right here, would I actually want to get back in? We got the, no, that's a misprint. We didn't get the upside gap on the Qs. That's a misprint at 1016.
Order filled. Order submitted.
Do I want to take a stab at this? Is this my trade? Flow is flattening out, but overall pretty strong. The Nasdaq, same thing. Big pop. A little bit of like chilling out right now. There's the SPY. The trace tool. Yeah. 45 is becoming a big node, which is undershooting the gap fill. That's kind of interesting. So support at 500 flat and then 6545. A clear level of interest. Oh, brother. Nope. No continuation quite yet. No continuation quite yet.
Order filled.
That was just for those evals. I'm really focusing on the FFN fundeds, which I did not take that trade on. You could definitely be a little bit more loosey-goosey with the evals. Just for this to bounce anyway. No way. I feel like at some moment, like this is just a pullback. The question is, when is it gonna get going? At least that's the question in my mind. Especially because I'm really still strongly considering the gap fill. The flow, I mean, it was strong, I guess now flat, strong and now flat.
Order filled.
I have quite a bit of leeway on these. Hmm. $55. That's 31. So 30 points of risk. How do I really feel about 30 points of risk? Oh, decisions. Decisions. VWAP, you have 900, you have 872, and you have 853. Like we could easily go to those levels. And still be fine. What time is it? It's 10:30, hour in. So now the IB is established.
Order filled.
All right. We're taking a stab at it. Like I said, I mainly... Now everything's moving real quick. All right. Now we're doing something. Okay. Now we have to do some math. Okay, so the tradefies are down by 1.5. Where's my calculator? Okay, so the tradefies are down by 1.5. They can make up to, we'll call it 3.5. All right. How many contracts am I trading over there? So I can make 5K. I'm trading 4 contracts. So that means I need to go for 62 points. 62 points on these. Plus 32.
Order submitted.
All right, so that's for the Tradeifys, I think, to max those out on the day. I believe if these hit, I max the new Tradeifys. So hopefully that hits. So that's for those. For, come on, go. So the batch that I'm trying to handle 3 things in a row right now: the Tradeifys, the legends, and the funded futures. They all have different rules and different things that I can do. And as you can tell, we are all at different points in the day. So the Tradeifys are down 1.5. I can make up to 3.6. And I think 3.5 is right here. So that's the max I can do there. Come on. Can this just hit so I can think a little bit more reasonably about all of this? Come on. Just hit 33. Just slightly take out the high. Come on, brother. Go for it.
Order
there we
filled.
Okay, so one of these is done. All right, Tradeifys, I maxed out what I could do over there. So the next thing to consider are these bad boys, the legends. So the legends you can pass in one day. So that's 9,000. Okay, so that's way up here. So that's 104. Okay, so these ones, the max, there's no point in going past 104.
Order submitted.
All right, so that's those guys. So that's now go. Am I going to max those out? Go. Get going, brother.
Order filled.
Okay, knock that out. 9K. And guess what, brother? These guys are back green. They're fucking back green. Let's fucking go, dude. This is how you do it. And then
Order filled.
the most I can make on those is 3K, and just locked in the 3K. Just like that. Bro, what a fucking turnaround. I'm not going to lie. They had me in the first half. Brother. Look at that. Wow. They don't build them like that anymore. They don't build them. Dude, how crazy. The vibe of the stream in a mere few minutes was like what's actually going on? Kind of a brutal day. Boom. Changes like that. Trump has to be announcing something. Clearly has to be announcing something. Oh, man, what a day. The fact that we captured that live, that's insane. That's ridiculous that we captured that live. What a day. All right, so past these ones, past it. So I had the evals and the evals, lost the evals, passed these all again, and then obviously maxed these out on the day. And then I also had the take profits, but I already did the scalp trade on them. So, wow, dude. Wow, what a fucking day we have cooked up. How quickly can that change? How insane is that, man? How insane is that? Ridiculous. Redonkulous, brother. All right, let's size that down. We don't want to make those mistakes because just for transparency, obviously the other one I have is right there, TPT. Right there, TPT 30, 30, 30. I just had to get in a scalp trade, so did that. Yeah, does anyone have idea of what the news is? Something had to get announced, and fortunately, I was on the right side of it. Dude, I told you I had to get lucky at some point. Unlucky, 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 unlucky. Boom, finally, massive amount of luck all at once. You see how the luck balances out there? Like I was like a little unlucky, and then a little unlucky, and then a little unlucky, and then one event, all pure luck. Like my luck was getting stored up into one big move. It was just getting stored up into one big move, and it paid. It paid. Hey, it's the law. What's it? The conservation of luck. That for all the unlucky events, eventually you have to get lucky. And for me, it just like got stored all together in one thing. Dude, that's how you do it. What is this drafting protocol with Oman? Oh, interesting. Okay, so we do actually have some legitimate news that caused that financial juice right here. Breaking, Iran, drafting protocol with Oman for Hormuz Strait traffic, drafting protocol with Oman. So basically saying, all right, we're going to see what we can do to actually get some traffic going through. So did that cause the upside gap fill? It did. Whoa, way more than the upside gap fill. Remember this morning when I said, how funny would it be if we actually got green on the day? U.S. will leave Iran in 2 to 3 weeks, according to Trump. Did he put that on True Social, or did he say that in an interview? 6 minutes ago. This was not that one. Where did he say that? This one has to do more with the bill. Remember way back when, before the market opened, and I said, hey, maybe the market loves a sick April Fool's Day joke, and we actually go green on the day. We almost took out the high from yesterday. Last night's speech. All right. Well, if you're looking at last night's speech, that's old news. I don't give a shit about that. If you're trying to quote information from last night's speech, what are you doing? Like, you're so comically late to what's happening in real time in the market. You need to speed it up. It's an embarrassment that you're trying to quote an update from last night. That's a legit. We actually took out the high from the overnight trading session. Jesus. Last night, okay, Boomer. That's how I feel. The fact that I'm trying to quote shit from last night. That's exactly how I like. All right, Boomer. Like, what else do you want to talk about? What else do you want to talk about then? Jesus. We not only went green, we almost took out the high. I called it. I said, not likely. To be fair, I said it is unlikely, but how funny would it be if it's a delayed April Fool's Day joke and we go massively green on it? When did you hit the drawdown on the Lucid 3 minutes before? I did. Are you saying for you? That's a bummer, but I didn't trade my Lucids today. My Lucids are in the version, or I guess in the middle of getting converted to live. So I didn't touch my Lucids. So I touched my FFNs. Right here, 7 PV. Generally, it says FFN or FFNX. That means you're either an eval or exhibition. So I'm actually funded here. Like the 7 PV is Funded Futures Network. I was down 4.5, locked in just below 3. The take profits, I already hit the goal. I'm just doing my scalp trades. On the legends, I had evals, was working on them, failed them, and then just got new ones and passed them in one day. And then I also had evals on Tradeify, failed those, but then obviously maxed it out on one day at the 3.6. Did you see anything there that made you go 4 contracts? No, I was just trading evals. With evals, I'm a little bit more degenerate because they're evals, and I'd rather just have the funded account. So I trade evals more aggressively because I care more about time efficiency than financial efficiency. So I figure, okay, if I like it, like go for 4 because I'm just trying to lock in at 3.6. And when you're trading 4 contracts to hit 3.6, you don't need that much of a movement. And to hit 9K in one day, you need to be trading a little bit more size unless you have like the biggest move ever. So it just so happens that I happen to be doing it live when the crazy move happened. So it was really cool to capture all that with you. But what did I see that made me trade for? I didn't trade that on my funded accounts. That's way too much size for a funded account, in my opinion. So I'm willing to do it with evals, but I'm a little bit more degenerate with evals. That's pretty much what I saw going on. And it's going to get going again, dude. It's making that move to 200. Remember when we were talking about breaking out at 24,000 and we're already 200 points above it? That's crazy. Crazy. I see it was just the evals. Yeah. I would never be that degenerate on funded accounts. It's just, if you're lucky, great, that's awesome. But you saw what happened when I was trading 2 contracts this morning on those. Did not. How are my positions looking? Actually, on that, no one's going to be surprised to find out that Piper fired. Bullish. If you're in the Discord, I'm putting Piper in there as quickly as I can to wrap up the week. A beautiful April the 2nd. If you are in the Goonie Discord, I'm putting it in right now, the specific levels. That's in there. And then I haven't done any of the premium trades myself, but I am interested. What levels are we at? Oh, brother. He wouldn't send this all the way back down, would he? He wouldn't send this all the way back down, would he? All right, I'm throwing in a bit of an order. It's a little bit degenerate, but here, if you're in the Discord, I'm sharing this quickly. I'm sharing this one quickly, and I think some of the other ones probably got their profit target hit. But here, I'm taking a stab at it. If you're in here. All right, did a little bit of option stuff. Okay, here. We'll see how that plays out. I demand Velvet Kohrs. Yeah, let's get some tunes. Turn in a crappy day. And how quickly can a trading day change, especially in this environment? That's nuts. Where's the one that really gets me hyped up? Actually, a lot of these get me pretty hyped up. I'm not going to lie. All right, we don't need that. We don't need that. Vol took a hit. Maybe it's going to be a good weekend. What a crazy change, dude. Absolute. The fact that after being like, I was literally bitching and moaning about how unlucky I was getting to catch the most absurd. Like, it's just the conservation of luck. It's the conservation of luck. All right, little Velvet Kohrs. Little Velvet Kohrs to celebrate. What's your P&L?
Down my
78,000. But what really matters is more so the 7 PBs. That's what matters, because those are the funded ones for real money. So yeah, I made that much money trading, but it's not like I can access that much money. The money I can actually access is the 7 PBs, which is 14,000. So I'm still stoked. But remember, that was just to degenerately pass an eval. That was to max out the evals one day. I'm scalping over there. So the numbers are good, but just to be a little bit more realistic about it. You know, I don't want to be that guy on social media pumping up numbers that don't matter. I want to be, I'm stoked about it because it's that much closer to real money, but the only real money is that one, 14,000. All right, well, we got the upside gout, though. Congrats to everyone who played it. Oh, and if you want to trade with Apex, is running 90% off. So whether you're trading on FFN, Take Profit, Lucid, Apex, all of them, code Goonie will give you the best one. But I just want to let you guys right now know that Apex is still running 90% off. But seriously, for any one of you who uses that code Goonie, thank you. You guys are the best. You guys are what keeps the show alive. You're what keeps food on the plates of my employees. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, we'll work on Vanquish as well. Are there new drawdown rules on the 50K? Yeah, you could do end of day instead of intraday, which is pretty sick.
Mama Kohrs didn't raise no bitch.
Mama Kohrs. Oi, oi, oi. It's green, boys.
Rolled out of bed with a hangover head. Check the chart, that bastard's red.
You know what's pretty timely for this environment?
Why do you want to be here? Why do you love space? Why do you love being a part of history?
We're going back to the frickin' moon, that's why.
That's why. Right there. The kid predicted it. We had the prophet foretelling where the market was going today. And little did we know, the prophet was in a NASA hat with a GoPro and was probably 12 years old. How old is this kid? He told us. We just had to read the writing on the wall. We just had to read the writing on the wall, man. Anyway, let's restart this song. Oh, wait, what's this? Just so you guys know, Public just came out with agentic investing, which is probably the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen in the world of retail trading. What's this about?
Investing platform Public.com is rolling out AI agents to help members automate their investment strategies. Joining us with more, Yannick Malling, the CEO of Public.com. Yannick, welcome. This is fascinating. So tell me what this agent can do for me.
Yeah, so today we're rolling out AI agents for investing. And so this is the easiest, safest way to put AI agents to work directly in your portfolio. And the way it works is pretty simple. In the Public app, there's a tab in the app called Agents. From there, you chat with an AI. And you can set up agents that monitor markets, manage cash, and even execute trades. So for example, I have a bunch of agents now running, one that checks the oil prices every morning and automatically implements protective put options as a hedge if they spike. I have another one that takes cash from my bank account, puts it into my bond portfolio to make sure that I'm always yielding the most. Mm-hmm. And I even have one that scans for covered call opportunities every day across my portfolio and alerts me if there's a low risk way that I can make $5,000 this week. And so there are thousands of use cases already. And we think this really changes how people
It does. It's so
think
cool.
about
It's so
and
freaking
manage their
cool.
portfolios over
I
time.
think it's interesting to think about an
Wow,
agent who
we
can
went from the
automatically hedge
overnight
sometimes
low
you get
to
busy
the
during
overnight
day and you
high
want to implement
from
these things, and it's much
940
easier
to
verbally
1040.
speak
It took 1
as opposed-
hour
as opposed
to go
to
from
putting
23,666 to
but the aspect of help me
24,246.
generate
What a move.
$5,000 a month in covered
What
call
a
premiums,
move.
actually tasking it with finding opportunities.
There is
to
another
invest
upside
in.
gap, though. Obviously, I'm
How
not
to
talking about it
back
for
test
today, but maybe
Yeah,
for
I mean,
next
like,
week,
so I
consider
think that's
6,
the big
7,
user
10,
interface shift,
6,
by the
7,
way, right?
11.
Like, we've always been
The low
ultimately
from
manually entering
Tuesday,
orders.
March the
And I think
17th.
there's a shift now because it's more about just setting objectives,
NASDAQ ripping,
expressing intent.
Mag
And
7
so instead of,
ripping, S&P 500
buy
did
200
rip, giving a
shares of
little bit
Apple
back,
as
but overall
price,
trending up.
the command might be
We cut through
increase
this
my position
positive
if valuations
gamma.
compress another 15% from here.
Obviously,
for example,
6,600 is
right?
the
And
big
so
one.
AI
The
agent will
reach
sort of
target
help you
would
at
be
every step of the way.
6,640.
It's very conversational, so it'll
Remember,
help you
Apex,
set up all the
90% off
guardrails
with
around
code
various
Goonie.
strategies that you want to implement. And then once you implement it, it actually runs in a fully deterministic workflow to ensure that there can't be any hallucinations or any improvisations on your account from that.
Letting AI gamble for you is the most stupid idea I've ever heard. That's because you don't understand what it is. And if you believe that, you're going to fall behind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely. I have one that write covered calls for me automatically every month across my top positions in a very low risk way, so it has a good understanding.
That's actually
of what
one of the
risk
dumbest
is.
takes I've ever heard.
Because it runs
It's
inside
inherently
the
gambling
public.com brokerage
because
account. It
it
obviously
is
knows
an AI
what you
system.
own. It knows your risk tolerance,
That's
your investment
stupid.
goals, etc. And so it also has the opportunity to be much more personal to you as an individual.
How does it know which call strike? Do you have to implement that yourself, or do you just say,
Boomer take,
help me generate
exactly.
extra income by writing covered calls?
You'll say, help me generate, and it will ask you some questions maybe about risk and a few things, and it will lay out a couple
Very
of options for you.
clearly
And then
a
you
Typically
boomer
boil
take.
everything down to like 3 options, and then you pick the final one yourself, but then it implements the strategy for you, so you never have to sit
All
there.
right, we're
and buy it
all
at any
once
point in
again
time.
at the red to green test, where this is the closing value from yesterday. Watch for the break of 6,600, then 610 is the high, and then from there 640 is a positive gamma node.
Could you say, okay, I'm just thinking, sophisticated strategies, I think the market's going to end here in a month. So I want to do a straddle. I want to do a
100%.
short straddle.
Full call spread, straddle, whatever you want.
Do any of them.
Really, I think the problem is it's always been really hard to be really sophisticated, and AI completely changes that because you can now start implementing something like a covered call strategy on your account without having to read an options chain, get too deep in the greeds, etc.
Yep.
It all happens through natural language with an AI directly in your brokerage account, right? So this is not something you need to install different things. It runs securely, transparently in your brokerage account. You can always see exactly what the AI is doing.
Yeah,
So you
it's
have full control.
deterministic.
And so, like I said, we think it's a big leap in how people will invest.
It's fascinating. It's good for business because you said since the AI agent launched, 50% of conversations led to a transaction within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Can a customer
Order
sort of run
filled.
it parallel and see how your portfolio can be enhanced before actually using it?
Absolutely. You can run as many
Order
as you want. They're
submitted.
free of charge, by the way, as well, if you're a public.com customer, obviously. And the way we think about it is like, look,
Order filled.
every new technology in our industry has always created a new type of brokerage, right? We used to trade on the phone.
Order submitted.
Then the dawn of the internet gave us the discount broker. The shift to mobile gave us the neo broker. And now with AI, it's the era of the agentic brokerage. And I think what's interesting about that, it
Order
actually goes
filled.
back to being more of a full service model. Like your broker used to call you with trade ideas and research, etc. But then with the shift to
Order
web and later
submitted.
mobile, we reduced the role of a broker to just trade execution. I think the agentic brokerage
What I'm doing
model
right now is just
reverses
cleaning up
that
some of
trend,
these
and even
accounts so
more
they're all
because
roughly the
this thing's
same
so much
value
more
at
powerful than a
2,900.
human broker
So
to make
on
it right
3
when
of them,
a
which were
trading
clearly
trade like 10
below,
seconds.
I'm just doing a little
We'll get to the point where the
scalp
agent
trade
will
to try to get them to
contact you about opportunities.
2,900
Right
like
now
the
it's
2 lead
initiated by the
accounts, just
customer.
so
Right now,
the
it's
math
still
later on
reactive
is
in
a
the
bit
sense that it's
easier.
initiated by the customer.
Order
we are
filled.
certainly playing
See,
around with some
oh
proactive
fuck, I went a little over on
things,
that one.
and we very much think that's where the future headed as well. And I'm not talking the long-term future. This thing is evolving really, really fast. It's the most rapidly evolving product that I've ever seen in my career.
Is this in a
So
position
we're
or
very
not?
excited about how this is going to evolve.
It says
over the
that
next
there's
few
an unrealized. Now I'm confused. All right, let's disconnect and reconnect. What's going on? Fuck. Hello? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so my goal was to get them all to 900 because there was a differential of like 300 or something like that. So I just wanted to get them all a little bit closer. So now they're all within $100. It'll just make the consistency math a bit easier later on. So like I said, just a little bit of scalp trades there to roughly even those accounts out. I'm done with take profit. I passed those tests. I just need to scalp trade. I passed all the legends today, 9K, 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 9K. And then I maxed out what I can do. So I'm literally done. Like there's nothing else for me to possibly do today on this. There's no more point in trading Tradeify. There's no more point in trading Legends. There's no more point in trading TPT. And I maxed out my consistency already on FFN. So literally done. Done. There's no point in me doing any extra work there. Obviously, everyone in the Discord knows I've been trading options. Let me check on those. Those are up. They're green. They're looking good. 150, no, 150. How do I want to do that? 75. How do I want to do that? I need to think of a profit target. Anyway, I'm in an options position. I'm actually in various options positions. The Discord knows all about that. I have one swing play on right now. That's a directional play. It's not doing so bad today. This is the one directional play. I have various other ones on, but I'm long SPY calls. So talk about a turnaround. They were deeply red today, and now they're actually back to break even. But overall, I've been swinging them for a bit, so up 32%. So thus far, happy with that, but that's just a little bit of taste. Once again, if I trade off of stream with you guys, obviously I share all my futures trades in the Discord if I'm not streaming here. And then all the options trades are also for the Discord, exclusively for the Discord. So just to explain, I was getting some questions about that. You know what? Let's put in 70. Hang on. How do I want to do this? Yeah, let's do that. All right. Throwing in a profit target there. PT. Okay, so I put that in the Discord. I put my profit target in, and other than that, we are looking good today. What a day, dude. I cannot get over how crazy this has been. How absolutely insane this has been. Oh, and please remember, the market is closed tomorrow. The futures market is going to have weird hours. It technically opens up at like 6 p.m. tonight, and then it turns off tomorrow morning, so it's a bit strange. But once the equities market and the options market closes tonight, it's not going to open back up until Monday. So basically, please don't forget, it is a market holiday tomorrow in observation of Good Friday. Okay, cool. So with all of that, let's get some music in the background to celebrate. All right, let's get a little bit of Toby Keith. Are there any questions before I let you go? Any questions about the Trump developments, the trading schedule, what I did with futures today, what I did with options today, the Apex discount, the Lucid, all of those, the Goonie trading Discord, a little bit of a quick AML before I let you guys. Is there anything on your mind now that I'm not paying attention to a live position? I'm able to look at... Are we bullish? I mean, that's up to you. Can you recap the public AI? Basically, you can create your own AI agents to auto trade for you, or just to give you updates and alerts, and then they can get better and better and better the more you interact with it. And it is free for everyone on public. It's the coolest thing I've seen in the space of retail trading for a long time. You have some brokerages that are getting you to parlay the final four of March Madness in your retirement account, and then others are giving you a tool, as I tweeted out yesterday, to be like literally competitive with Wall Street. When will AMC mow us? Literally never. It's going to bankruptcy. What else do we have? What else? Iran seems to play inverse Trump. Yeah. That's been the going gist. Matt, please describe how you use the options market positioning for your day trading. When is it put or call dominated? Does that impact your day trading? No, because you don't know if they're buying puts. Just because there's a lot of open interest on calls or puts, you don't know if they're buying or net selling. That's why you also have to look at the gamma. But in a nutshell, wherever you can spot large positioning, that's a level that screams you have to be paying attention if price gets to that level, because those large players might react. But a lot of people look at, like, for example, how many of you have heard people trying to cite the put to call ratio of like, oh my God, the put to call ratio is this, that's so bullish, that's so bearish. What are you talking about? That's the dumbest fucking metric I've ever heard. Those puts or calls might be live, but how do you know if they're all long calls? What if they're short calls? What if a lot of participants decided to buy the calls or sell the calls? Those are completely the opposite things. If in the put call ratio, if the C side of that equation is all long calls, that tells you something very, very different than if they're selling calls, which is more of a ceiling in price action. So not only do you have to know the positioning, as in the open interest of like, okay, are we dealing with the calls, which are orange, or are we dealing with the puts, which are blue? But then you want to know who is are they, just because they're live open interest, are they live open interest from the person creating the position by selling that or by buying that? It tells you a completely different thing. So that's why for a long time, I've always thought when people cite the put call ratio, I mean, it's just speed running them telling me they have no fucking clue what they're talking about. Okay, so it's not the domination in the list of coffee thoughts. You pay more attention to the reaction when they get there. Yes, but also in Coffee Thoughts, I give you the gamma map so you get an idea of like, oh, right here, I can tell that they are long and I can tell that they are long calls. So you have to put two pieces of information together. So I'm saying don't just look at big open interest. You want to look at big open interest with also the idea of, are they selling that or are they buying that? Like, what is the core position? What is the idea they're trying to represent? And on top of that, just because you're long a bunch of calls, it could be a call debit spread. It could be a call credit spread. Like, these are all things that tell you a very different idea of whoever that trader or investor was. It gives you a completely different understanding of the current dynamics of the market. So, unfortunately, it's not just as simple as look at large open interest. It's look at the large open interest, but then cross that delta map with the gamma map to understand, are they aggressively bullish or are there a bunch of calls there because they sold it? So in Coffee Thoughts, that's why I give you the gamma, because that's putting it together. You could see that they're long these calls. You could see that they are short these calls. You can see that they are short. What is that? They are short these puts. So like it kind of gives you an idea of like, okay, this is a floor, this is a ceiling, this is either a hedge bet or an aggressive bet, and then there's another aggressive bet all the way up here at 6,650. Like, so it's not just one thing. You're putting 2 to 3 moving parts together. Did you call Good Friday a Jewish holiday? I didn't call it anything. I said the market is closed in observation of Good Friday. I can't find the gap fills from Tuesday and Wednesday on NQ's chart. Yes, in QQQ. How do you calculate where they were? Well, that's because the gap wasn't there on NQ, because NQ trades on the Globex session. It trades 23 hours out of the day, when QQQ is only trading regular trading hours from 9:30 to 4. So it's not going to, like, it's literally trading longer. So there's less gaps in ES and NQ relative to SPX and NDX relative to SPY and QQQ. Like, literally the difference there is the hours that they trade. In the futures market for ES and NQ, it trades what's referred to as the Globex session. It trades from 6 p.m. the night before to 5 p.m. the next day. It takes a 1 hour break, and then it trades all over again. And obviously it does take the weekend off as well. What else? What else is on everyone's mind? Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Hey, Matt, would you recommend SpotGam over Bookmap if you can only afford one? Those are two different things. That's like saying, should you buy a refrigerator or a washer? They do two completely different things. Bookmap is good for intraday traders, scalp traders, day traders that want to know where all the big buy and sell orders are on the futures market, while SpotGamma is options analytics. There are two, like, one is a very high-end data analytics visualization for a DOM on the futures market. SpotGamma is all for the options market. They're two non-related things. I use them both, but I mean, in terms of your question of what should you be using, I don't know. What do you trade? What tick intervals do you trade with? None. On stream, I show the 100 and the 500 tick just because they move more rapidly and it's more entertaining. But the lowest time frame I trade on is the minute chart. But most of my analysis of like where I'm going to get my momentum and what I want to trade on is the 10 minute, the 30 minute, and like the hour. And for longer term things, I'll look at the 4 hour. But I don't trade on any of the tick charts. They're just fun to watch. And I'm not saying, don't take that to mean that you can't be profitable trading on a tick chart. Hey, dude, if you're trading on a tick chart and you're making money, don't let me stop you. I'm just, I guess, directly answering your question. Can I show SpotGamma? Yeah. Here's the current intraday flow. SPY is flattening out. Mag 7 still ripping. NASDAQ is still ripping. What happened to the Wall Street song you used to play after winning a trade? This one?
You getting mad?
That one?
I'm getting rich. You getting mad?
Or I'm trying to think. Are you talking about... I think I know what you're talking about. Hang on. I think I have it. Let me check. Hang on. Hold your horses. What happened to it? Nothing. This one. That one?
Wall Street. 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 Now my stock rising, got the eyes on me. Wall Street.
That one? I don't know. Sometimes we just mature as a show and move on to other ones. But it's still a fun little ditty, I would say. It's still a fun little ditty. Matt, it blows through my stop from time to time. How do you stop that from happening? I don't understand. It just hits your stop. That means you got to get out. What? I guess I don't understand the question. It blows through my stop. If it hits your stop, you hit your stop. That's the most risk you are willing to take. Okay, move on with your life. I don't understand the actual question in here. How do you stop it from happening? A stop is just saying, if this level is hit, I admit I'm wrong on this particular trade. That's it. It's going to happen on 50% of your trades. Is he referring to yeah, are you referring to slippage of saying, hey, I'm not getting a fill at the exact level of my stop? Remember, stops are market orders, as in they're not limits, as in if the price is hit there, it just says market me out. So sometimes that can help you, sometimes it can hurt you. Today it hurt me on 2 contracts to the point of 13 points each. So it cost me an extra $500+. Don't have a stop. That's one way to never have to deal with it. Wyoming, you're not wrong. How many option orders do you average on a day? 1 point something, maybe not even. Some days my options bot doesn't fire, so I take no trades. Like yesterday, I took no options trades because my options bot didn't fire. But 1 to 2. The best way to trade options is selling premium. I get it. Like, and I know this is going to be a hot take, and I know someone in here is going to be like, but my favorite Furu's making so much money, 0 DT buying calls and puts. No, they're not. I promise you that there is no one in the influencing retail space who is net ahead with their core strategy being buying calls, buying puts on a 0 DT basis. That person does not exist. You're gonna be like, but this guy made 10K last week. Great, he made 10K last week. What about net? Show me his last 6 months. Show me his last year. Show me his last 2 years. You will not be able to find an influencer who is net ahead over the course of 1 year, 1.5 years, who is mainly buying 0 DTE calls or 0 DTE puts. That person does not exist. It does, and I get it. There's someone who's gonna fucking say something in chat and be like, but this guy, but he says he is. They're not. Do you know how many people out there currently have I guess not competitions, but they have offers that for anyone to prove it, to be like Lance is a good example, but there's like 4 or 5 of these people that say anyone who can prove that they are net profitable over the course of a year, buying calls and buying puts on a 0 DTE time frame, they're like, hey, I'll give you 100K. I'll donate 50K to your favorite charity. There's free money offers out there that people literally just have to show their brokerage statements and no one takes them up on it. No one. It's free money. So before you come at me with your excuse of, no, they are making money, they're not. What do you mean? What are you talking about? They could get another 100K in their own bank account. They could get more money than that in a charity. Do you know how many offers there are to disprove that statement and just no one takes them up on it? And the reason they take them up on it or don't take them up on it is not because they're like, oh, I don't want to give money into charity. It's because no one can pass that test. No one can pass it. I'm telling you, folks, so many people want to disagree with me on this because it feels like I'm taking away their hope of being an option trader. And I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to tell you, if you want to be an option trader, your odds of success greatly increase by... Hang on, I just read the stupid fucking comment ever. Hang on, before I get to that really fucking retarded comment. Your odds of success greatly increase by becoming a premium seller. So anyway, to the dumbest fucking question ever, then why does 0 DTEs exist? Wait, so are you saying that things only exist in the financial market if they're proven to make money for people? That's like saying, so why do casinos exist? Like, what you think there's like the Illuminati sat there and they're like, we're only going to offer products where most people make money. Is that what you think happens, John? Come on, dude. You've been here for long enough that you know that's a dumb fucking question. So then why do they exist? I don't know. Why does blackjack exist? Why do craps exist? Why do slot machines exist? Like, because you're still allowed to play them. That doesn't mean that you should. Sorry, I'm new here. Can anybody tell me if he buys and sells contracts for futures here live? Yes, I did. And I mean, just rewind the stream and you can watch me making 78,000 live in front of everyone. Not only would I say I do it, I would actually say that I am the best live streamer who does do it. 0 DTE shouldn't exist. Why? You can still sell 0 DTE premium. Do you know how many profitable strategies there are to sell 0 DTE premium? So still, like, once again, I think the retail space is so mentally stuck in this concept that you have to buy premium. And John, you're an example of it. So you're saying, I told you that buying premium on the 0 DTE is borderline impossible to be profitable in the long term, not on an individual trade, in the long term. And your first response is like, oh, then they should just ban it and no one should do it. I already told you the secret. The secret is to sell premium. That is the secret. I just gave it to you. But yet that shows that how much retail is just fucking stuck in this idea of you have to be buying calls. You have to be buying puts. You don't. You can create many, many positions every single day by selling premium. It's sell to open calls, sell to open puts. You can create the position by selling. And then obviously to close it out, you would buy it back. But this just shows me time and time again that retail, it's like a drug. They're just addicted to this concept of you have to buy calls, you have to buy puts. You don't have to do that. And in fact, you shouldn't do that. Most odds, and I'm talking about when we get the earnings report from Robinhood, and they tell us how their average consumer, their average client's doing. No, the odds suggest you shouldn't be doing it. In fact, at all, ever. Like buying calls, buying puts is a product that to be successful in the long term, you really have to fucking know what you're doing. And most people don't know what they're doing. Like that it's a very complicated product. That's not a knock on you. It's just more of, did you put in the time to learn how to fucking do it? I sell 0 DT and 1 DT premium on the Qs every day. That's how I make my living. Exactly. But see right there, you're doing the opposite. You could do something extraordinarily difficult, like buying premium, or you could do something extraordinarily easy, like selling premium. And yet, because most people, like, it's fucking social media has fucked everyone's brain, and they see all these gains and this and that and the other thing, and they're like, I got to do that. And dude, it's a drug, dude. It's an addiction. I'm telling you, I promise you, if you want to be an option trader, your life will get 100-fold easier if you become a premium seller instead of a premium buyer. Like, I'm telling you, I promise you, the amount of hours that I've studied the math of that situation, I fucking promise you. How much experience would you say you need to trade futures? I don't know how to answer that question. 18. What is that question? How do I quantify the amount of experience? Trade on a paper account until you prove to yourself that you're profitable. That's the answer. Like, I don't know. Certain people learn at certain rates. Some people are gonna learn faster than you. Some people are gonna learn slower than you. Trade on a paper account until you're profitable, and then go to a real account and blow that out, and then be like, oh fuck, I wasn't disciplined enough. Go back to a paper account. Work on it again. Go to a live account. You're gonna blow it out again. Then you're going to go back to a paper account. And then maybe on the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, maybe eventually you're actually going to be disciplined and follow the rules that you know you should be following. Michigan and UConn for the wins this weekend. Is Arizona still in? I have Arizona winning my bracket. I need Arizona to win. If you're not profitable trading, you won't be profitable. Oh, if you're not profitable trading a paper account, you won't be profitable trading real money. Yeah, probably. Hey, Matt, what's the difference between the Orbo and IB? IB is commonly considered to be the first hour. So there is an Orbo that is the first hour, and that's the same thing as IB. But Orbo could also be the first minute, the first 5 minutes, the first 15 minutes. So it's kind of like the argument that like all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares type of a thing. So an Orbo is a more generic name. That's just the opening range breakout or breakdown of whatever time frame. And then if you happen to apply it to the first hour, well, then you have an IB. So basically an IB, the initial balance, is a specialized, it's like a very specific time frame for an Orbo. But then there's other Orbos that don't have to be that time frame. But a lot of people like the 60 and the IB, just the initial balance. It's considered to be just the extreme of institutional buying and selling. What prop firms are the accounts that start with LT, ATA, Legends? It's pretty comparable to Apex. So I like those accounts when Apex isn't running a deal. But like if you look at the rules, it's very, very similar to Apex. So when Apex is running a deal like 90% off, financially, it's better to do it here. And like I said, there's a pretty large rule overlap. So just want to share that. It's very comparable to Apex. But when you have a 90% off on Apex, that's hard to beat. Hard to beat. All right, folks. Anyway, shout out to Apex for sponsoring today's show. If you want these 90% off, use code Goonie, but it also works on Tradeify and TPT and basically all the major firms. If you want to trade with me, GoonieTrading.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, come to the contact page and that directly comes to me. Other than that, I'm pretty much done on the day, to be completely honest. I've already sold my premium on the day. So I need to manage that. I'm done trading futures. It was a rough start, but it ended very, very well. So I'm stoked about that. And I'm also stoked that we're about to get into a 3-day weekend. So thank you for all the good vibes. I'm going to be hanging out on the Discord after this. I hope you guys crush today. Be careful. I'm still seeing a lot of movement, a lot of volatility, a lot of craziness. So be careful with your sizing for sure. And other than that, yeah, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you crush today. We'll be posting content today, all weekend, and then streaming once again on Monday, just so you have an idea of the schedule. But hey, happy April to all.